welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Honor Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of every Medal of Honor recipient. I'm your host, Christoph Ambrose, and today's episode is episode 178 and takes place during World War II. And now, a tale of honor. Thomas was born on the 5th of February, 1921, in Campobello, South Carolina, and he enlisted in the U.S. Army at the age of 21. It was his actions while deployed in the Pacific that would earn him the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "He fought gallantly on the Villa Verde Trail, Luzon, Philippine Islands. With two companions, he occupied a position on a ridge outside the perimeter defense established by the 1st Platoon on a high hill. At about 3 a.m., 2 companies of Japanese attacked with rifles and machine gun fire, grenades, TNT charges, and landmines, severely wounding PFC Atkins and killing his 2 companions. Despite the intense hostile fire and pain from his deep wound, he held his ground and returned heavy fire. After the attack was repulsed, he remained in his precarious position to repel any subsequent assaults instead of returning to the American lines for medical treatment. An enemy machine gun set up within 20 yards of his foxhole vainly attempted to drive him off or silence his gun. The Japanese repeatedly made fierce attacks, but for 4 hours, PFC Atkins determinedly remained in his foxhole, bearing the brunt of each assault and maintaining steady and accurate fire until each charge was repulsed. At 7 a.m., 13 enemy dead lay in front of his position. He had fired 400 rounds, all he and his 2 dead companions possessed, and had used 3 rifles until each had jammed too badly for further operation. He withdrew during a lull to secure a rifle and more ammunition, and was persuaded to remain for medical treatment. He saw a Japanese within the perimeter and, seizing a nearby rifle, killed him. A few minutes later, while lying on a litter, he discovered an enemy group moving up behind the platoon's lines. Despite his severe wound, he sat up, delivered heavy rifle fire against the group, and forced them to withdraw. PFC Atkins' superb bravery and his fearless determination to hold his post against the main force of repeated enemy attacks, even though painfully wounded, were major factors in enabling his comrades to maintain their lines against a numerically superior enemy force. Thomas was with 13 others that received the Medal of Honor from President Truman on the 12th of October 1945 in a ceremony at the White House. Shortly after, he returned home to South Carolina and became a farmer. Thomas Eugene Atkins died on the 15th of September 1999 from congestive heart failure at the age of 78. He was survived by his wife, 4 sons, 1 daughter, 8 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, and is buried in the Fellowship Baptist Church Cemetery in Holly Springs, South Carolina. And that was a Tale of Honor. Thank you for listening to Tales of Honor Podcast. Please head on over to talesofhonorpodcast.com for more information, other ways to listen and support the podcast, and please be sure to leave a good rating and a nice review. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them on over to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrose. Thanks for listening.